pencils at the ready. And you pay attention because you will be tested after this panel.
Tested on sexiness.
Teacher, I don't want to.
Jaden, you would fail automatically.
What about
more
more gym leaders?
Yeah.
I'm very happy to be back in Chicago. I was here for ASEM this year, and I had a good time, but I didn't really get to meet anybody. But this convention, I've pretty much met everybody. If I haven't met you, then I apologize. Feel free to come by afterwards, and we'll hang out and stuff. But it's been really cool so far. So this is the Meet Little Kuriboh panel, and I don't know what you guys had in mind when you read that title, but I have no idea what to expect myself, so feel free to, we can just turn it into a general Q&A about me or Yu-Gi-Oh! Abridged or whatever you guys want. But I guess as an introduction for those of you who don't know who I am or what Yu-Gi-Oh! Abridged is, I'm Martin Billany. I come from a place called England. And,
what is that?
Where?
What?
You guys conquered my country. I remember that.
You're welcome.
Poor Irishman.
But
sorry.
My first experience with Yu-Gi-Oh! Was I went to see a movie in Glasgow in the world's tallest cinema, I believe it is, and one of the many posters they had for recent releases was the Yu-Gi-Oh! Movie. And at the time I looked at it and said, that looks like total crap. Why would I ever watch that? Why would anybody want to watch that? It just looks like a rip-off of Pokemon, etc., etc. And then I watched it one day because I was trying to watch Pokemon. And I caught it at the tail end of an episode with Yami Marek, basically berating everyone after he defeats Mai. And I was like, why are these guys so excited about card games? What's the big deal? Why is it so grandiose and ridiculous? And I was like, this show has to be ludicrous. And I went back and I watched a few more episodes. Like, it is ludicrous. Yeah, I kind of like it. What's going on? And then I realized that, yeah, the card game is kind of tedious, in my opinion, but the characters themselves and the story that it told with those characters was really kind of engaging, and it wasn't like Pokemon at all, because Pokemon, you could take one episode of the show and you've seen every episode of Pokemon. No offense to that, it's a great formula, but as far as Yu-Gi-Oh! Goes, there's a beginning, middle, and an end, and these characters do change and grow over time. So I thought, what better way to demonstrate how much I love the show than by to make fun of it. So I did, and apparently people enjoyed watching that. So I mean, otherwise this room would be kind of empty. But, yeah, that's how it all got started, and 5 viewers became 50 viewers, became 5,000 viewers, etc., etc., and it just kind of spiraled out of control. And people always ask me, this is probably my most frequently asked question, is did you expect the show to become so huge? No, I never did, and honestly, if I did expect it, I probably never would have done it, because I'm easily intimidated like that. But yeah, I'm very glad I did. Any questions regarding? I guess so.
Yes, I don't know some of the voices for the characters. I mean, like, some of them are based on, like, really previous voices, like these voices on next or whatever, but some of the other ones, like, costumes, people and
I mean, his question was, how do you come up with some of the voices? And, like, yeah, people like Yugi are pretty obvious. Tristan confuses some people because obviously he has kind of, I love you, you love me, kind of thing going on. But I mean, it literally is based on Sam Riegel, who was the original voice actor in the English dub. The original direction for the character was to make him a surfer dude, and I always thought that kind of made him sound special. I mean, no offense to anybody, but like he kind of sounded dumb when they did that voice. So I kind of just played on that, made him sort of the slow thinker of the group, and gave him that goofy kind of my voice gives me super strength voice that everyone's as far as like Rex Raptor and Weevil and people like that, that's obviously Beavis and Butthead. In fact, Mike Judge, the creator of Beavis and Butthead, is one of my idols, honestly. He's a guy who made a show that has a very basic premise that's appealing to a wide audience, and he voices almost all the characters, so you can kind of see where the inspiration lies there. It's interesting. Huh? King of the Hill is fantastic. I've been rewatching that show recently, and it's one of those shows that has aged really well. I mean, obviously he doesn't voice all the characters on that show, but the fact that he, puts a lot of creative energy into that is very obvious, and I'm a huge fan of that show. Yeah. Other characters, like Marek. A lot of people ask about Marek, and he's one of my favorites to voice, obviously. but he's kind of based on me when I was 15. And whenever I say that, people imagine me as this skinny little like waif walking around with this midriff out, and obviously I didn't do that. But I was very loud, very obnoxious, very. I was kind of the odd man out in the group of friends that I had, and everyone was like, "Why do we hang out with this guy again?" And I was sitting in the corner, being like, "We should watch a movie." It was interesting. But yeah, he's a very easy character to slip into. So just because he's kind of part of me, he's the immature voice that I tend to ignore most of the time. So I mean. Most of the voices come from just exaggerating what's already there in the characters and just using that. I mean, Duke Devlin's a very different voice from what's actually in the show, but he's kind of what the character is. It fits the character because he's kind of like Keanu Reeves meets Snake from The Simpsons. Same sort of thing. It's a very quiet voice as well. But I was really worried when I started playing around with Duke, which sounds weird now that I've said it. I was kind of worried.
Suddenly there was fan art.
I was kind of worried when I was playing around with the character's voice because I was like, I can't make him sound boring, but I also can't like do something really specific and have it fail. But I ended up going with something like what he is, and I think it worked out pretty well. But yeah, usually just exaggerate what's already there, and it works. Any other questions about anything? Way in the back with the big helmet. Yes.
How did you think of the nickname Little Kuriboh?
Oh, it's been so long, and I think I've told like 3 different versions of the story. But originally, I wanted to be called Cursive Dragon, which is a play on Curse of Dragon, which is a Yu-Gi-Oh card. For those of you who don't know, my original online handle was LockDog07. Which made everyone think I was a huge, intimidating black guy. They were very disappointed when they met me. But, Little Kuriboh, I think I tried getting Cursive Dragon because I wanted to be a writer, and it was a very pretentious name, and I'm kind of glad I didn't go with that because I don't think it flows quite as well as Little Kuriboh just does. But I think that's because it's become, popular or whatever. But Little Kuriboh I just settled on because Kuriboh is the mascot character of the show, and Little because, I don't know, I really don't know why Little, because it's a little monster, I guess. It's stupid, but I mean, it works. Yes, sir?
I have a request.
Yes?
Can you do in his voice, Friendship Rage?
No, okay.
Friendship rage!
You guys are so easily impressed. Is that okay? Awesome. Sweet. The gentleman in the white shirt.
How does it feel to have created a brand new genre like Smile Tap is the first documentary?
It's interesting because regarding like anime parodies, they've kind of been around for a long time. I mean, I would never say that I created the whole parodying an anime thing, but like the thing that I did was I gave it a name and I kind of made it episodic, so it actually followed point A to point B. It wasn't just like a one-off video that made fun of the show in general. It actually stuck with the characters and kind of kept going and saying, well, we've seen this story told with the original characters, but what if this story was told again with basically like screwed up versions of those characters? I think that's one of the motivations that keeps me going to finish the show, really, because I do intend to finish the show eventually. But I want to know how Abridged Yugi is going to react to Yami using the Seal of Orichalcos and stuff, and I want to know how they're all going to react to Yami going into the afterlife and everything, and I want to know what Marek will do when he, stops being evil. If that'll ever happen, who knows? But yeah.
Draw a monster card montage. How are you gonna do that?
I'm sorry?
The draw a monster card montage. Like, this just isn't your day.
Oh, the train duel? Yeah, that's another thing I'm looking forward to doing. I genuinely don't know where some of these characters are going to go. But as regarding your question, it feels. I try not to think about it, honestly. Like, people sometimes say, how do you deal with like all the fuss and the phenomenon that's surrounded the show? And I try just to take it, one person at a time. I don't really see the crowd. I see one person who like enjoys the show and gets a laugh out of it and wants to thank me for it, and I'm like, that's cool.